Mr. Carroll, it's an easy question.
Yeah.
What proportion of all complaints to the OPA are dismissed without investigation?
Oh, I don't think any are dismissed without investigation that are meritorious.
Well, who decides whether they're meritorious
Well,
or not?
of course, OPA has to. Somebody has to make
Somebody,
that.
yeah. But I mean, isn't the complaint often made that all complaints are investigated? Haven't you heard that complaint?
All complaints are assessed. For example, you might have a complaint that a car was speeding down the freeway. A police car was speeding down the freeway, and there's no identification as to which police car it was.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it. There are some things that can't be investigated. There's not enough information.
Right. But so in any case, when there is information, a case should never be dismissed as a contact log case, right?
I don't know that.
I was just speaking to Rich O'Neill, the president of the police guild, the union, and he said whenever there's a serious complaint about serious misconduct, there's an investigation. Investigators pick up the telephone and they make calls to find out if there's any validity.
I assume that's the case. Yeah.
But in the Kurt Cobain materials that I provided to you, my complaints about police misconduct in that homicide were dismissed by Captain Evenson as a contact log case, meaning, as they said over and over again, no investigation whatsoever was done.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie. Thanks for being there. You know, I don't know about that case.
No, well, you should know about it. I just gave you dozens of pages about it.
We turn it over to OPA. Go ask them. We're not investigating anything.
Well, I know, but you read the material, right?
We turn it over to OPA. I've got to go home and get to my family.
But that constitutes a violating of the city ordinance that created OPA. They're supposed to assess complaints in terms of seriousness of the allegation.
Yes.
An accusation of serious misconduct is not supposed to be dismissed without investigation. And that's exactly what you have in the Cobain case. So how did that happen? And why is your panel not concerned about investigating?
I agree with you or not on that. We're not an investigative panel. If what you say is true, then they should have investigated. I don't know. That's not our job.
But you have a profound case of police participating in a homicide.
That's what you say.
It's in their paperwork, Captain Evenson's letter to me. We dismissed this as a contact log case.
For me, I'm going home. I'm done for
No investigation whatsoever.
Thank you, sir.
Police participation in a homicide. Fixing evidence at a homicide scene. No investigation whatsoever. Mayor's special panel. They are oh so special. Oh, Ms. Olson, are you done with your conversation? Do you have just one moment, ma'am? Oh, you can bet that KCWM is not getting into an elevator at 8:30 at night with a strange woman. We exercise a little bit more discretion than that, believe me. No siree, Bob. No siree, any of you Bobs. Won't find me. Won't find me getting into an elevator, a parking garage, with a strange woman. At this time of night, no way. It's all about valor, man. It's all about heroism and valor. In this particular case, discretion is the better part of valor. Oh, blimey. $146,000 a year. Buys you an awfully nice ride. Big silvery SUV. We're going to film it. Britney Spears there, big SUV. But oh yes, nothing quite so true as our nose for news, is there? We know what the issues are. We've covered them thoroughly for years, and we're covering them thoroughly this evening. And the quote of the evening really does go to Mr. O'Neill of the Police Officers Guild, the greatest hobgoblin in Seattle politics. What is the Guild up to? The Guild, they're twisting our arm, they're twisting our balls. They're breaking our balls, they're breaking our arm. We just can't do a daggone thing about those billions of dollars that get spent in public safety because that daggone Guild, they've just got a lock on the power structure of this city. And then what do you know? It's Mr. O'Neill, president of the Guild, who actually comes up with the most truthful and relevant statement of the evening, which we've tried to follow up on. They asked him if there was anything you could change about this darn near perfect system that we have here in Seattle for dealing with police accountability. What tweaking, tweak was the term used about 3 times this evening, what tweaking and fine-tuning would you see? What would be your number one suggestion from the point of view of the Guild in terms of tweaking and fine-tuning this professional accountability system? Answer? The triage system. It needs to be changed. The Office of Professional Accountability is best suited to investigating serious acts of misconduct. Hooray! Hooray, amen, booyah, hallelujah. We could not possibly have said it better ourselves. And yet here we are explaining that over and over again to the panel that's supposed to be taking these sorts of suggestions very seriously, and as you see, they just don't get it. Ms. Olson in particular doesn't know what proportion of the cases, complaints, have been dismissed by OPA historically. She doesn't know that? How could she not know that? Of course she knows that. Should have been the first question she asked when they invited her in for the job interview. Hey, this sounds like a fantastic job, and $146,000 sounds like just the kind of thing that's going to buy me some sweet rides to cruise around in Seattle in, and a lot of other stuff. If she makes it through the two 3-year terms and does 6 years as OPA head, that's about $900,000. $900,000 for a job which I'm sure a lot of people could make the claim that it's real hard work and all that, but having watched the system develop since before its creation, you know, from its inception through today, November 5th, 2007, I would say that OPA had $146,000, almost $1 million, I mean, in salary. That's pre-tax, but don't forget about the benefits and including pension and all the rest of it. You don't need to put in 20 years in these executive positions to get heavily subsidized for the rest of your life by the city of Seattle. So, you know, $1 million for a few years on that job, 6 years, that's good money. She should know, and she should have asked the first question in the interview, by the way, how much of this shit do we really sweep under the rug? Because from what I've heard about this job, you know, in the newspapers, primarily public access TV, if she's been, you know, wise enough to take in our reports on this, guess what? I've heard that there are a whole lot of complaints that are dismissed. How much sweeping under the rug are we going to have to do on this job? Well, it's about 2/3 of all complaints, and basically we managed to, in my view, in my personal view, they managed to negotiate that with the Guild. That is, the Guild somehow cuts a deal. I mean, it's speculation, obviously, but it's one thing that can't keep the Guild happy is that they just draw this firm line, this that, yeah, we'll brush off about 2/3 of those complaints. And then actually, I mean, if you want to see some sort of authenticity to O'Neill's statement, really, the rank and file officers probably hate this professional accountability thing, especially since it seems, by reputation, which, since most of it's very secretive, I can't confirm or deny, but every cop on the beat is made to feel that any complaint could blow up into something, tremendous that doesn't really reflect their day-to-day performance of the job. As where serious misconduct, of course, won't be investigated, because who the fuck wants to find serious misconduct? If they find serious misconduct, they won't be able to parade around saying, we've got the least corrupt police department in the country, or words to that effect, which is what they do. As Mr. O'Neill said, I believe he's referred to as Sergeant O'Neill, 85% of all of our officers get no complaints in a single year. And this is a part of a statistical analysis they released in the recent propaganda competition with the City Council and the Mayor's office. And they basically drew it down to 10 officers who are getting about, getting 3 or more complaints per year. I believe it's 1.4% of all officers. They didn't give a hard number. So the idea is, it's squeaky clean, especially since they don't investigate major crimes committed by Seattle police personnel. Not in the Kurt Cobain case. And again, as I've been saying, as far as, now, you never know what kind of shit is really going on that is underreported or non-reported. I mean, if the police are running $1 billion narcotics racket in this city for, decades and decades, ask fucking John Wayne about that. He's the only one who ever reported it, The actual John Wayne who made an actual movie about that premise here in Seattle around, 72, 73. And so he had the coppers stealing evidence out of the evidence room and replacing it with powdered sugar, I don't think we've mentioned this for about 10 years, so it's maybe worth mentioning now. But, so what is the ultimate extent of accountability? Well, gosh, thank goodness we have the media, right? Because the media, I guess they would be sort of in the final fallback position, right? I mean, no matter how corrupt things get inside the police department, we've always got the freaking media that's going to save us, right? They'll protect us, like, I don't know, the Seattle Times. So when I walk in tonight, who's there but a guy I haven't really seen for a few years, Militich, and I pointed to him and said, hey, Militich of the Times, right? Asked him what are you doing here? He said he had nothing else to do, and I said, oh, well, you must be here all geared up about that Filegate case, right? Filegate. No, I haven't heard of that. It was on Como, it was on Channel 4, Filegate, the missing files, right? Nope, I haven't heard of that. And I had looked online, and I knew that the Times and the PI haven't done anything about it. It was on Saturday, the beginning of Sweeps Week. Oh, gee whiz. We're going to have to change reels.